So last week I did a video on Kung Fu Panda 4 and how I feel about it based on the plot details we have, but obviously there's a plethora of upcoming DreamWorks movies that we could talk about. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about Kung Fu Panda 4 a little bit. We're going to be talking about Teenage Kraken. We're going to be talking about Trolls. We're going to be talking about that live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie, which we'll get to. But the point is, DreamWorks still has a very long list of films that are coming out, and it doesn't seem like that it's gonna be that bad. I mean, there's one bad one, we'll get to that, like why is this one being made? But let's get into everything. To start off, we have Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken releasing, which, you know, just released a poster a few days ago, and this poster did not need to go as hard as it did. And honestly, the reception this movie has based on its first trailer, it's not bad, but it's just alright. From basically what people have been saying, you just don't go from Puss in Boots 2 being a masterpiece and being some of people's all-time favorite animated movie of all time, to then an okay, kind of same plotline you've seen in other movies happen. And the point is, people have high hopes for it. It's an original story that, you know, I haven't seen been touched before. Having Krakens be the heroes and mermaids being the villain, that's something I haven't seen actually be adapted before in an animated film. So it's something new. Even though they did show a lot of it in the trailer, the directors promised that they really didn't show everything, which, honestly, we'll just have to see the movie to find out. Honestly, I'm not even sure if I want to watch the second trailer, because the first trailer basically kind of gave us everything. I'm expecting a second trailer, probably. You know, that would be hilarious if they decided to drop a trailer the week The Little Mermaid comes out. And you know what? I have a gut feeling that's gonna happen, because they have to release a second trailer this month. So if they release one the same week The Little Mermaid comes out, that would be hilarious. Playing it right next to the movie, which would be hilarious. But Teenage Kraken actually, you know, looks good, even though they showed a little too much. But I'm definitely going to go see it. And I can't believe that we have 3 animated films dropping in June. We have Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which already is being hyped up to be a smash hit. We have Elemental, which people are on the fence about, because this movie seems to be taking a really basic approach. I'm still going to see the movie nonetheless to see how it turns out. But that movie, some people are just, alright, it's fine. Compared to what all these other animation studios are doing, it's kind of basic. But I'm still looking forward to see Elemental, because its animation is beautiful, and its world kind of reminds me of Zootopia, which I really love that movie. Guys, I'm not a furry. But the point is, I do think that Elemental will be fine, and Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse will be perfectly fine. But we're getting off topic. We're talking about DreamWorks today. The other upcoming DreamWorks movie is, well, Trolls Band Together, and like I said from the previous movie, you just don't go from Puss in Boots 2 and the bad guys to Trolls Band Together. And honestly, this threequel was inevitable. The Trolls franchise always seemed profitable for DreamWorks, and I made a community post a few days ago talking about the inevitable fate of the upcoming, we were supposed to get this, there's another timeline where we got this movie, but we were supposed to get a Plants vs. Zombies movie. We almost had a director and we had some sick concept art, but eventually the project came apart and we were stuck with Trolls. So, to the people that like Trolls, I mean, I'm happy for you, but to the people that don't, I'm sorry. And for the Plants vs. Zombies fans especially, we lost something that could have been great. And hopefully this project gets picked up eventually, because with the success of the Mario movie, you know every single animation and movie studio is going to be saying, hey, why can't we make an adaptation of this video game, and blah blah blah. It could literally be anything. They're literally making an adaptation of Gran Turismo, which is the least likely game I thought was going to get an adaptation, but heck, they're making it. So, that's already in the bag, but Trolls Band Together just seems like it's taking a very, very basic plotline, which I've seen pretty much everywhere. But it seems like this is the last movie, hopefully. This looks like it's closing off the story for Poppy and Branch, seeing that they're basically feeding you, saying, oh yeah, they're gonna get married by the end of this movie. And we're meeting Sorry about that. Branch's brothers. And that plot line seems like it was definitely made in the last year or so, because that definitely probably wasn't the plot line they were going to go with from the start. But I do think that the movie will be just okay. I don't think it's going to be terrible. And unfortunately, I'll see it, just so I can review it for you guys. But I do think that the movie will be alright, but at least 2024 will be a lot more promising, because as soon as 2024 starts, we get, obviously, Kung Fu Panda 4. Now, if you haven't seen my last video talking about Kung Fu Panda 4, go check it out. I'll link it down in the description for you guys to go check out, because it's a really good in-depth review about the plot line and everything. But just to leave you, giving you the gist of things, it looks like this movie is passing down a torch to a new Dragon Warrior. And thank you for some of the people in the comments telling me, I remember this now, DreamWorks actually plans for another 3 movies for Kung Fu Panda. So Kung Fu Panda 4 is actually not the last movie, but it might be the last movie for Poe's journey. And the villain, being the chameleon that can summon villains from every other movie, is definitely going to hype everything up. And I'm really excited to see how these villains, show up. But I'll get into more in-depth review in that other video, so I'll link it down in the description. I think everyone is really hyping up Kung Fu Panda 4, because it's just, yes, finally we're getting a proper conclusion to Poe's story, and everything will just be great. Next up on the list, we got Shrek 5. Now, Shrek 5 is all but basically confirmed. Well, it is confirmed, sorry about that, it is confirmed. And at this point, we heard details about a Donkey spin-off, which I'm like, okay, I mean, I think Donkey is more of just a comedic character, and he should just stay like that. I don't think Donkey could hold his own on a movie. I mean, Puss in Boots was a little different. There's a lot more you could go with that. But Donkey? It doesn't sit right for me. And if they go through with that project, okay. I feel like he should just get his own shorts and just should stay like that. But Shrek 5, there's not really that many directions I could see them going with. I mean, the fairy tale universe is so large that they could bring in lots of characters, but really just Shrek's storyline with his family is basically all brought together with his children. So I'm assuming they're gonna bring in this threat that's somewhere on the fairy tale universe, and Puss in Boots and the gang and Shrek and his family are gonna have to team up for whatever this new villain is gonna be. The Shrek villains have been ups and downs. Shrek 2 really had the best villain out of everyone, and I think everyone could agree with that. And I think Shrek 5 will be very promising. It's definitely going to be hyped up. It's literally right next to Kung Fu Panda 4 regarding in hype. And I think we're getting 2 DreamWorks movies next year, but we're not sure what the second one is. We already know Shrek 4 is confirmed, but I feel like DreamWorks would have told us now if Shrek 4 was really coming out. I mean, I've been saying Shrek 4 this whole time, wasn't I? I meant Shrek 5. We're gonna see if Shrek 5 is coming out in 2024, but if you really haven't heard anything about it, are we really getting it in 2024? Maybe. But we have a lot more other projects where I'm like, okay, these are interesting, but first of all, one of them is a Mr. Peabody and Sherman sequel. Now, I watched this movie a very long time ago when I was young. At this point, I would probably have to rewatch the movie, but I remember it being good, but I feel like it was like, wait, there's room for a sequel here? I felt like it was just good as a standalone franchise. And this, out of all the DreamWorks franchises, gets really talked about the least, and I was like, okay, I guess you want to bring back this franchise? I don't know if DreamWorks is just being risky with bringing in a new franchise and thinking it won't bring in a big box office, because trust me, it will. DreamWorks just set a staple on the animation industry for what they can do, but I think that they just want to be pulling sequels from every franchise they have. And if they really should be making a sequel, you know exactly what you should be making. Make a Megamind sequel. Do it. But they are making a series, so I can't really get mad at them for that. It's coming to Peacock. Let's go. But we have two other projects that are supposedly upcoming. We haven't heard much from both of these. One of them just got announced, and one of them has been announced for a while now. And that, one of them is the Dogman movie. Now this one, I think, will be an actual big hit. The Captain Underpants movie was... The box office was okay. I mean, it was in a pretty tough month, to be honest with you. We had the likes of Transformers The Last Night, Wonder Woman, and all those other films, so it was rough. But the Captain Underpants franchise is still pretty big, and I think Captain Underpants has plenty of room for a sequel to release. And heck, even if this Dogman movie does extremely well, hey, we might just get our own little universe of Captain Underpants and Dogman in Dave Pilkey's books. That would be really cool. But Dogman as a franchise, just a spin-off to it is not just a spin-off to Captain Underpants anymore. This franchise is big. I'm seeing this books everywhere. I'm seeing all these kids reading this book. It's become a little short on YouTube. There's even a musical for Dogman. Can you believe that? So I think a Dogman movie, it might not pertain to our generation necessarily, because I know a lot of little kids like those books, and hey, you may even like the books yourself. So honestly, the Dogman movie should be promising. I have read one of the books. It's a fun book to read. It's definitely something I would have loved a lot more if I was in like the 5th grade, but still, there's a lot of room to grow. For this, I mean, they could tell any story they want. Preferably the first book probably works best. But I think a Dogman movie would be perfect, and keep the same animation style you kept for Captain Underpants. That would be perfect. And now, finally, we have something that, honestly, I really hope DreamWorks does not kneel to Disney and start doing this for their films. We have the live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon. Now, when I first heard this, I was just like, no, DreamWorks, please don't be doing this. Don't start making all your films live action. I really don't want to see a live action Shrek movie. I don't want to see that. And all these little things I was thinking about, although, yes, it would be cool to see what Toothless would look like in live action, and they've kind of already did. It was like a few years ago, there used to be a How to Train Your Dragon live show, which really had some sick designs for what the dragons would look like, and the animatronics were sick. I mean, the show has been, discontinued after a while, but that is a pretty good look of what we're probably going to be getting. I don't know who's designing the dragons for How to Train Your Dragon, the live-action film. Hopefully they do a pretty good job, and it's really just going to be the first film. And I think they should keep it at the first film. I really don't think they should just make a trilogy of live-action How to Train Your Dragon movies. And honestly, the box office will determine if DreamWorks continues with this. I really hope they just leave it at How to Train Your Dragon. I feel like, yeah, you can do a live-action adaptation of How to Train Your Dragon. It could work, but leave all the other franchises alone. Don't turn them into live-action. Because Disney saw the success of one of them, and it just kept going. Beauty and the Beast, 1 billion. Aladdin, 1 billion. Lion King, 1 billion. It just keeps going, and The Little Mermaid is already releasing. And we had like a few weeks ago, I think it was like a week ago, Peter Pan and Wendy. Everyone hated that movie. I thought about watching it, but I honestly don't even want to waste my time with it. It's a 2-hour movie, and people have just said it is boring. So honestly, I don't plan on watching that movie. If you guys really wanted me to review it, there would need to be like hundreds of comments for that, but I really don't plan on watching that movie. But either way, I think they should just leave it with that and really just don't make any more live action films. It's an interesting idea, and I think it could work, but leave it at that. And that seems to pretty much sum up all the upcoming DreamWorks movies we have as of late. We'll probably hear some more when San Diego Comic-Con rolls around, because we really get a lot of announcements around then. CinemaCon was a little light, but when San Diego Comic-Con rolls around, and even New York Comic-Con, we get lots of announcements. So that's the upcoming slate for DreamWorks right now. What do you guys think? What is your favorite movie out of this list? And which ones are you going to be seeing, and which ones are you going to be not seeing? Let me know down in the comments, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.